Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 20. Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena of Maharaja Prudu. Text 1. The great sage Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, being very much satisfied by the performance of 99 horse sacrifices, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, appeared on the scene. Accompanying him was King Indra. Lord Vishnu then began to speak. Text 2. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, said, My dear King Prithu Indra, the King of Heaven, has disturbed your execution of 100 sacrifices. Now he has come with me to be forgiven by you. Therefore excuse him. Text 3. O King, one who is advanced in intelligence and eager to perform welfare activities for others is considered best amongst human beings. An advanced human being is never malicious to others. Those with advanced intelligence are always conscious that this material body is different from the soul.
Hemagori Mataji, you need not mention the text number.
Yes, Prabhu. Sure.
Thank you.
If a personality like you, who are so much advanced because of executing the instructions of the previous acharyas, is carried away by the influence of my material energy, then all your advancement may be considered simply a waste of time. Those who are in full knowledge of the bodily conception of life, who know that this body is composed of nescience, desires, and activities resulting from illusion, do not become addicted to the body. How can a highly learned person who has absolutely no affinity for the bodily conception of life be affected by the bodily conception in regard to house, children, wealth, and similar other bodily productions? The individual soul is one pure, non-material, and self-effulgent. He is the reservoir of all good qualities, and he is all-pervading. He is without material covering, and he is the witness of all activities. He is completely distinguished from other living entities, and he is transcendental to all embodied souls. Although within the material nature, one who is thus situated in full knowledge of Paramatma and Atma is never affected by the modes of material nature, for he is always situated in my transcendental loving service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, continued, My dear King Prithu, when one situated in his occupational duty engages in my loving service without motive for material gain, he gradually becomes very satisfied within. When the heart is cleansed of all material contamination, the devotee's mind becomes broader and transparent, and he can see things equally. At that stage of life, there is peace, and one is situated equally with me as Satchidananda Vigraha. Anyone who knows that this material body, made of 5 gross elements, the sense organs, the working senses, and the mind, is simply supervised by the fixed soul is eligible to be liberated from material bondage. Lord Vishnu told King Prithu, My dear king, the constant change of this material world is due to the interaction of the 3 modes of material nature. The 5 elements, the senses, the demigods who control the senses, as well as the mind, which is agitated by the spirit soul, all these taken together comprise the body. Since the spirit soul is completely different from this combination of gross and subtle material elements, my devotee, who is connected with me in intense friendship and affection, being completely in knowledge, is never agitated by material happiness and distress. My dear heroic king, please keep yourself always equipoised and treat people equally, whether they are greater than you in the intermediate stage or lower than you. Do not be disturbed by temporary distress or happiness. Fully control your mind and senses. In this transcendental position, try to execute your duty as king in whatever condition of life you may be posted by my arrangement. For your only duty here is to give protection to the citizens of your kingdom. To give protection to the general mass of people who are citizens of the state is the prescribed occupational duty of a king. By acting in that way, the king in his next life shares one-sixth of the result of the pious activities of the citizens. But king or executive head of state who simply collects taxes from the citizens but doesn't give them proper protection as human beings has the results of his own pious activities taken away by the citizens, and in exchange for his not giving protection he becomes liable to punishment for the impious activities of his subjects. Lord Vishnu continued, "My dear King Prudu, if you continue to protect the citizens according to the instructions of the learned Brahmanas authorities, as they are received by the disciplic succession by hearing from master to disciple, and if you follow the religious principles laid down by them without attachment to ideas manufactured by mental concoction, then every one of your citizens will be happy and will love you, and very soon you will be able to see such already liberated personalities as the four Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanata Kumara. My dear king, I am very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior, and thus I am very favorably inclined toward you. You may therefore ask from me any benediction you like. One who doesn't possess elevated qualities and behavior cannot possibly achieve my favor simply by the performance of sacrifices, severe austerities, or magic mystic yoga. But I always remain equipoised in the heart of one who is also equipoised in all circumstances. The great saint Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, in this way, Maharaja Prithu, the conqueror of the entire world, accepted the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead on his head. As King Indra was standing by, he became ashamed of his own activities and fell down before King Prithu to touch his lotus feet. But Prithu Maharaja immediately embraced him in his great ecstasy and gave up all envy against him for his having stolen the horsemen for the sacrifice. King Prithu abundantly worshipped the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was so merciful to him. While worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, Prithu Maharaja gradually increased his ecstasy in devotional service. The Lord was just about to leave, but because he was so greatly inclined toward the behavior of King Prithu, he did not depart. Seeing the behavior of Maharaja Prithu with his lotus eyes, he was detained because he is always the well-wisher of his devotees. The original king Maharaja Prithu, his eyes full of tears and his voice faltering and choked up, could neither see the Lord very distinctly nor speak to address the Lord in any way. He simply embraced the Lord within his heart and remained standing in that way with folded hands. The Supreme Personality of Godhead stood with his lotus feet among, almost touching the ground, while he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, the enemy of the snakes. Maharaja Prithu, wiping the tears from his eyes, tried to look upon the Lord, but it appeared that the king was not fully satisfied by looking at him. Thus the king offered the following prayers.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
How was it reading?
Yes,
Bhagavatam early morning.
yeah, a good motivation for a devotional service. Very nice. The Lord has explained. Yeah. Need to practice more and more.
Mm.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Looking forward for the explanation.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chaksharunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Tapatakamalan Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadbhetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaganalita Shri Vishaka Anvitamscha Navam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashyatya Desatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayam Udhirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So this is the continuation of the wonderful pastime about Maharaj Prithu. If you remember the last chapter, we were discussing about when Prithu Maharaj was angry. Why? Because he was being disturbed by Lord Indra. And the priest asked Prithu Maharaj to kill Lord Indra because he was disguising himself in various kinds of sannyas vesh. And then he came and he used to uh, uh, take away the sacrificial horse, which is very important for the Ashwamedha Yajna. Why? Because Indra was envious. Why? Because King Prithu was doing 100th Ashwamedha Yajna. And then what happens if it is done? Then he will become equal to Lord Indra. Because Lord Indra was feeling that, oh, if he becomes Shatakratu, what will happen to my title as Shatakratu? And if he becomes Indra, what is my position? I'll become subordinate. I lose my reputation or value as the Lord of the demigods. So this is what made him, Indra, to take away, and Prithu Maharaj became very, very angry, and then he took his bow and arrow, and when he was about to shoot, then Lord Brahma comes. Lord Brahma, then he says that to the priest that Indra, you want to kill Indra? No, do not kill Indra. Why? Because you should not kill him because he's part of Lord's body. We know that all the devatas are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and how can we kill Lord Indra? That's not right to do. And this yajna is meant to what? To satisfy the demigods. And among the demigods, who is there? Indra is also there. So, for the success of the sacrifices, they are part and parcel of Indra's body. So, in that way, also we see that all the devatas are represented by Indra. So in that way, by killing him, it doesn't benefit. Indra's attempt to disrupt the dharma will increase more. Not only that, not only we can't kill. The very important message here, Lord Brahma says, is it's not your duty. In most of our case, we don't really check. Am I responsible? Am I supposed to? Should I? We don't put this. If we think we are capable, we'll just jump in. No, it's not about capability, it is about qualification. It is about qualification. The other day we were discussing that a person who can find a gun cannot simply shoot if he doesn't has the license. So similarly, we might think that we can do, but we have not qualified ourselves that we are capable of proving that we are efficient or effective all the time. Uh, so, so all these cases, and then Lord Brahma is also saying that the attempts that Indra is making to disrupt Dharma will increase more. Let there be only 99 sacrifice. If the 100th sacrifice is going to create such a uh, adverse consequence, let let us be satisfied with the 99. And Lord Brahma told to Prithu Maharaj that, uh, oh Maharaj, you know what is the path of liberation. What is the path of liberation? It is that one should give up anger. One should be atirushtam. So atirushtam means to give up anger. Atirushtam means to be very, very angry. Uh, and one should give up that and then understand why things are happening in life are because of what? Daiva hastam. Uh, Daiva hatam and Daiva hastam. There is hand of the Lord and there is also Daiva hatam, the providence. Everything, it's not only that, okay, when we are doing something, it is granted by the Lord, but when something is not happening, why it is not happening? It is because of the hand of the Lord. That's why accept that as Daivahatam and give up your Atirushtam, the anger. So in that way, Lord Brahma said, and by doing this, the benefit that you want, anyway, you want to do the sacrifice for what? For the welfare of the people. Uh, but if you do this sacrifice, there won't be welfare because irreligion will become more because Indra is very stubborn. Uh, and then his desires, durvargam, unwanted desires that Indra has will increase and he will find his ways being in a powerful position. So, and not only this, the purpose of your incarnation is to establish religion, to protect your citizens. So, peace is the means. So he says that Lord Brahma advises Prithu Maharaj to take the path of peace, abandon his eagerness to perform yajna and with affection may peace with Indra. So this is what he said, and then Lord Brahma also blesses him all success, offered all the respects, rewards to everyone, and being satisfied, they gave their heartfelt blessings. And by stopping a sacrifice, one is getting blessed. Here, in this case, we see why, because there is a higher purpose of not doing a sacrifice. Not doing this yajna is actually helping. So that is the reason all the guests who came there, the demigods were satisfied, the priests were satisfied, Pitrus, great rishis, who all came, they all were satisfied. And then what is happening here is now from there we are talking about now Maitreya Rishi is saying, my dear Vidura, being very much satisfied by the performance of 99 horse sacrifices, the supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, appeared on the scene. So this is very interesting, isn't it? So when we perform yajna, the Lord is pleased and Lord comes and bestows his blessings. This is what we know. But here, interestingly, what we see here is that what we see here is that by stopping this unwanted sacrifice, at least for Indra, what is happening is that Lord Vishnu is pleased. So here the Lord is seeing what the intent of what we are doing when something. So Lord Vishnu appeared accompanying him with King Indra. This is interesting. So King Indra was with Lord Vishnu and they both came. And then what the Lord is saying is, please forgive the King of Heaven has disturbed your execution of 100 sacrifices. Now he has come with me to be forgiven by you. Therefore, excuse him. So here we see that Lord himself is coming, and what is he suggesting? Yeah, is he saying, hey, now you're a Kshatriya, you should punish, you should kill? Huh? And no, he's asking to forgive Indra. And if you see, then there is also in Mahabharat, and there is also in Mahabharat where Krishna is saying to Arjun that go and kill, uh, because they are on the path of adharma. And what about Indra? Is he? Is he not? Yeah, he is also out of envy. What is he doing? He is causing disturbance, which is also not correct. But here, Indra, who is a devotee, after all, in the end, yeah, he is also a devotee of the Lord, because he accepts the Lord as his Lord and also serves him in administration affairs. So, though there are these shortfalls because one is still in the material realms of modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, because of that, Indra is carried away by envy. But Lord, out of compassion, he still says, okay, forgive him. So, this is very, very important. And then the Lord is also saying, now he has come with me to be forgiven by you. Therefore, excuse him. So the intention of Indra coming is also expressed, explained by the Lord, saying that he has come here to be forgiven. So Lord is at the same time saying, yeah, please forgive him. Yeah. And the Lord is advising Prithu Maharaj to forgive Indra based on understanding that soul and body are different. So here we usually see what are actions that are performed by a person, and we kind of want to punish. But actually, are we punishing the soul or are we punishing the body? So the Lord is advising Prithu to forgive Indra. In the purport, Prabhupada is saying in this verse, the word Atmanam is very significant. It is a custom among yogis and jnanis to address one another as oneself. For a transcendentalist, never accepts a living being to be the body. Since the individual self is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the self and the super self are qualitatively non-different. So the self and super self. So, and what does that mean? Here we understand that uh, as the next verse will explain, the body is only a superficial covering, and consequently, an advanced transcendentalist will not make a distinction between oneself and another. So self and super self. Yeah, here we are seeing as two words which are telling about still Atmanam. So here a yogi or jnani, or actually even a devotee will not, an intelligent devotee. Yeah, this also shows how much are we advanced as a devotee. An intelligent devotee does not take action against the soul or the body. If there is any discrepancy, what is the mark? The mark that the Lord Himself is prescribing is to forgive. So, if there is any discrepancy, that is because of the actions of Indra, being an intelligent devotee. Hey, Prithu Maharaj, forgive Indra. Forgiveness is a quality of those who are advancing in spiritual knowledge. So, here Prithu Maharaj is not just a king, but he's advancing in spiritual knowledge. So, in that sense, what is the path to be taken is okay, forgive him. After all, for King Prithu, if something happens again, he can always take corrective measures. It's not like, okay, oh, I will miss this opportunity to catch hold of him, or no, nothing like that. So, and then comes how the Lord is explaining that one, if takes to the path of knowledge, transcendental knowledge, then one's life will become successful. Sudhiya sadhavo loke naradeva narottama nabi drudanti bhutebhyo yarhi namna kalevaram. So, O King, one who is advanced in the intelligence and eager to perform welfare activities for others is considered best among human beings. Who are best among human beings? One who is advanced in intelligence and eager to perform welfare activities for others. So it is not just only thinking about my welfare, it's not only thinking about my family welfare, it's not only thinking about my close community welfare, society welfare, right? But one who is advanced in intelligence, what does this mean? When one is advanced in intelligence, what is happening is he is getting this understanding or eyes to see that soul, Atma, is in everyone. He's not seeing the body, and the influence of body is the cause of suffering. Influence of the body is cause of pleasure. So he's not seeing that, but he is understanding. Those with advanced intelligence are always conscious that this material body is different from soul. And then when we understand this, in daily life we find that when a madman commits murder, he is excused even by a high court judge. The idea is that a living entity is always pure because he is part and parcel of the Lord. When he falls into the clutches of material energy, he becomes a victim of three modes of material nature. So this is the cause of what is happening, what are the dealings that are being carried out. Indeed, whatever he does under the influence of material nature. न कर्तव्यम न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभु न कर्मफल संयोगम स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते. So how are we acting? It is because of the embodied spirit, Atma, master of the city of this body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. The modes of material nature is influencing a person to act in one way or the other, and the soul starts believing because he is touched or in getting in contact with that. Actually, the living entity or our soul does not do anything. Everything is done under the influence of modes of material nature. When a man is diseased, the symptoms of the disease become a source of all kind of pain. Those who are advanced in Krishna consciousness are never envious, neither of the soul nor of the activities of the soul under the influence of material nature. So, which means once our intelligence is matured, then we understand why a person is behaving like that. Why? Because he is more in the clutches of material existence or the influence of modes of material nature. So, advanced transcendentalists are called Sudhiya. Sudhi means intelligent, Sudhi means highly advanced, and Sudhi means devotee. One who is both devoted and highly advanced in intelligence does not take action against the soul or the body. If there is any discrepancy, what does he do? He forgives. It is said that forgiveness is a quality of those who are advancing in spiritual knowledge. If we are maturing ourselves in understanding the science of Godhead, then forgiveness, yeah, we can't go around forgiveness. We have to appreciate the quality of forgiving. We usually, when we have not developed such a spiritual knowledge, we identify ourselves with the body. And when we identify with our body, we always demand forgiveness. I can do anything. I can do anything. And even if it's a mistake, come on. Who doesn't do mistake? I am also one of them. Now you should forgive me. All the time we expect that we are to be forgiven for mistakes that we do, but we do not think that okay, other person has committed something, whether it is right or wrong, whether he should do it or not do it. We usually take it as very serious and start thinking, hey, he has committed mistake, he has committed sin, he has committed offense, and in that way, by thinking about that, we should come to the point that to the level that these things are not good for me. By identifying someone's fault or based on the body or the soul, rather a devotee understands that yeah, even if he has done knowingly, unknowingly, then the best course of action is to forgive. And what is the Maya's influence? Maya influence is, it is mentioned, Purusha yadi muhyanti, Tvadarshya deva mayaya, Shrama eva param jato dirgaya vriddha sevaya. This is very important. If a personality like you, who are so much advanced because of executing the instructions of previous acharyas, if a person like you is carried away by the influence of my material energy, then all your advancement may be considered simply a waste of time. Dirgaya vriddha sevaya. For Krishna, Lord Vishnu here is saying that you have acquired under the guidance of previous acharyas that wisdom through which you have advanced. You know what instructions, the instruction that you got can put you in a great advanced state. But 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 if you are carried away by the influences of modes of material nature, so if you yourself are in Maya, then whatever we have done in the past, this is also not only for Prithu Maharaj, this is for us. We may have heard so many nice classes, we may have heard so many nice pravachans, we may have heard so many instructions, so many wonderful pastimes, so many personal instructions, indirect instructions, direct instructions of acharyas. But still, after all this 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever, or days together of learning, hearing, and all these things, again, if we go back to our daily course of action based on the modes of material nature, what is the value? Then all the advancement may be considered simply a waste of time. This is what Lord is saying. Vriddha Sevaya. What is that? Vriddha means old. Sevaya means by service. And then here it's an ordinary man who has only a conception of bodily existence is always bewildered by the modes of material nature. But if personalities like Prithu Maharaj or advanced intelligent beings, if they themselves do this, it's not conducive for advancement, but rather it's waste of time. And then further, it's about ignorance. And here Lord is saying that Atah kayam imam vidvan avidya kama karmabhi aradhya iti naivamsim pratibuddho anusajjate. So those who are in full knowledge of bodily conception of life, who knows that this body is composed of signs, desires, and activities resulting from illusion. What kind of illusion? In the purport, Prabhupada is saying there are two kinds of illusions. One is what? In the bodily conception, when we think that sense gratification will help us by just pleasing ourselves, by finding what I need, what comfort I need, what facilities I need. If I think that I'll be happy, that is illusion. Another kind of illusion is to think that one will become happy by trying to satisfy the desires that arise from illusory body, or by attaining elevation to higher planetary systems, or by performing various types of Vedic rituals. So if one is thinking that by all these things also one be happy, that is also illusion. Similarly, material activities performed for political emancipation and social and humanitarian activities performed with an idea that people of the world will be happy are all illusory, because the basic principle is a bodily concept, which is illusory. So identifying with body, which is illusory. What is illusory? Something that is there but not there. Illusion. We think it could be water, but water is not there, but something else is there. We are thinking this body is permanent, but body is there. It's no doubt. Body is there, but it's not permanent. It is temporary. So, which is illusory. Whatever we desire or perform under the bodily conception is all illusion. In other words, Lord Vishnu informed Prithu Maharaj that although sacrificial performance set an example for ordinary people, there was no need for such sacrificial performance as far as his personal self was concerned. And Prabhupada in the purport it says, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nitraigunya Bhavarjuna, Nidvando Nitya Sattvaspo, Niryoga Kshema, Atmavan. So the Vedas mainly deal with the subjects of three modes of material nature. And then what Krishna is telling to Arjuna, rise above these three modes. For us, if we are Also, aspiring to transcend the effects of the material nature, we have to go above it. Similar, just like if we are inside the water and then, no, I want to see the sky, then we have to come out, then we can see the sky. Inside the water, what can we see? Maybe some glimpse of, or what do you call this? An adulterated version of the pure sky. But the real sky we can see when we come out. The ritualistic performances recommended in Vedas mainly depend on three modes of material nature. This is what very important we need to know. We can't say that, hey, this is also in the Vedas, that is also in the Vedas, this is said in Vedas, you should do this every Monday, you should do every Friday. Yeah? Vedas are telling that you should do this process, this ritual. All these are what mainly depend on the three modes of material nature. Consequently, Arjuna was advised to transcend the Vedic activities and from what is it, Varnashram level to Bhagavat level. From the Varnashrama Vidhi to or actually to Vaidi sadhana, Vaidi Vidhi to Bhagavat Vidhi. So, what is Bhagavati? Bhagavat Vidhi is to get into the modes of pure goodness. So, similarly here, Lord Vishnu is advising Prithu Maharaj to give up anger and forgive Indra. And he's also saying, how can a highly learned person who has absolutely no affinity for bodily conception of life be affected by bodily concept in regard to house, children, wealth, and similar other bodily productions? So here he is further saying that this influence of Maya, that if one is in ignorance, his desires and actions are not correct. And then here Lord is saying to what's the rituals? Kuryat mamatam, affinity, Buddha. A learned person should not have such kind of affinities towards the house, towards children, towards wealth, and other bodily productions. Why? Because all these are based on what? Bodily platform. The Vedic ritualistic ceremonies are certainly meant to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. However, by such activity, one does not factually satisfy the Lord. Interestingly. Rather, with the sanction of Lord, one tries to satisfy one's own senses. So, in other words, materialists who are especially interested in sense gratification are given permission or license to enjoy sense gratification by executing Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. So, which means if I still aspire to enjoy my body through my bodily senses, still it's not so easy. Just like if someone is a deaf person, yeah, can he hear? No. It is that predominating deity who takes care of ear sense organ. If he blesses, he gives the Shakti, he gives the power, potency, then only I am able to hear. So how can that happen? It is everything is under the administration of the Lord, and which means when the Lord wants to give, then only it will happen. Materialists who are especially interested in sense gratification are given permission or license to enjoy by executing Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. So, what is the purpose of Vedic ritualistic ceremony? Is to lead a ethical, materialistic, pleasant life. That is called Traigunya Vishaya Veda. The Vedic performances are based on the three modes of material nature. Those who are elevated above the material condition are not at all interested in such Vedic performances. Rather, they are interested in higher duties of transcendental loving service of the Lord. Such devotional service is called Nishtraigunya. Devotional service to the Lord has nothing to do with the material conception of bodily comfort. So, and then comes the seventh one where Eka Shuddha Swayam Jyotir Nirguno So Gunashraya Sarvago Navrita Shakshi Niratmatmana para. So the individual soul is one, eka, and then pure and non-material and self-effulgent. So Atma, he is the reservoir of all good qualities and he is all pervading. And he is without metal covering, yeah, and he is the witness of all activities. He is completely distinguished from other living entities and he is transcendental to all embodied souls. Here we are talking, Lord Vishnu is telling two kinds of souls. One is he himself, one is the Jivatma. The individual soul is one, pure, non-material and self-effulgent. Eka Suddha Swayam Jyotir Nirguno, without material, sorry, uh, nir, Nirguno. Nirguno is, we are talking about the super soul. The Lord is telling about the super soul. And um, and then the same, the Lord, he is also saying that he is the reservoir of all good qualities and he is all pervading. He is without material covering and he is witness of all activities. He is completely distinguished from other living entities. This is to be undermarked. We cannot say that, okay, I am also having legs, I am also having hands, so Lord also is having same, and are we not the same? So I think in the purport, this one or the other, it is said that by comparing the Lord, the Jivatma and Paramatma itself is an offense. Let me read that. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in this verse, Lord Vishnu is describing himself or the Paramatma. The Paramatma is always distinguished from embodied soul as well as the material world. Therefore, he has been described as Para, that Para or the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Eka, one. And the Lord is one. So the Lord is one, whereas the conditioned souls embodied within the material world exist in many varieties of forms. Yeah? There are demigods, human beings, animals, trees, beasts, and so forth. Hmm. Thus, the living entities are not Eka but many. As confirmed in Vedas, what is it? Prabhupada refers this very, very often. Nityo Nityanam Eko Ekatma Nityo Nityanam Chetas Chetananam Eko Bahunam. It is the same one in many forms. The living entity who are many and who are entangled in this material world are not pure. However, the Supreme Lord is pure and detached. Due to being covered by the material body, the living entities are not self-effulgent, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma, is self-effulgent. For us, we need light. When the sunlight falls on us, then we appear. Otherwise, if we are in a dark room, no one can see us. The Lord is self-effulgent. The living entity being contaminated by the modes of material nature are called Saguna, whereas Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is Nirguna, not being under the influence of material modes. The living entity being engaged in the material qualities are called Gunashrita, whereas the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Gunashraya. Gunashraya. Why? I think there is a word here. I don't know whether it comes here. There is a nice, I think it will come in the second part of the chapter. How the Lord is addressed, fountainhead of all the gunas. Yeah. The conditioned soul's vision is covered by the material contamination, therefore, he cannot see the cause of his action and he cannot see his past lives. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, not being covered by material body, is the witness of all activities of living entity. But both of them, the living entity and the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are Atma. Both are Atma. They are one in quality, yet they are different in so many ways, especially in regard to six opulences of the Godhead has in full. Full knowledge means that the Jivatma, the living entity, must know both his position and the supreme position. That is full knowledge. So when we are talking about knowledge, it is not about, okay, understanding who I am, how far I can go, in which world I am. Oh, there are planets around, there are galaxies, there are Milky Way, there are so many. It's not knowing only about ourselves. Yeah. If one wants to have such knowledge, yeah, most welcome. There is abundant knowledge, yeah, in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and also in Devi Bhagavatam. Yeah, but that's not complete knowledge. That's only partial knowledge. The full knowledge is to know about oneself and also the Supreme. So this is full knowledge. Saying so, and then ya evam santam atmanam atmastam deva purushaha naijyate prakritistopi tad gunai samayi sthita. So here it says, although within the material nature, one who is thus situated in full knowledge of Paramatma and Atma is never affected by the modes of material nature. For he is what? He is always situated in my transcendental loving service. So Lord Vishnu is telling about who? Devotee. Although within the material nature, one who is thus situated in full knowledge of Paramatma and Atma, just by having this knowledge, which is full knowledge, then one is what will he do? When I know that I am servant, when I know Lord Vishnu is my master, what will I do? Will I just sit and waste my time? No, I understand that, hey, my master, yeah, I want to give my best service to him. So in that way, he is always situated in Lord's service. माम च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्ति योगेन सेवते सगुणाम समतीत्यैतान brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So this is what is saying. One who is unflinchingly engaged in devotional service of the Lord surpasses the material qualities and attains Brahma realization. In this connection, Srila Rupa Goswami says that if a person is always engaged in service of the Lord with his body, mind, and word, he is to be considered liberated, although living entity is living in the material world. So in that way, one can understand what Lord is saying is that just by knowing the Atma and Paramatma, or understanding this, the Supreme Lord and oneself, one engages always in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So that is the result of knowledge. The result of knowledge is not to get puffed up. Hey, I know Bhagavatam, I know Bhagavad Gita, I know Vedas, I know Upanishads, I know Puranas. But am I going to be Niyamagraha? Am I going to use all this knowledge to escape doing service? Or am I using all this knowledge to engage in service? Engage in service means devotee. Escape means he is what? He is a hypocrite. He is just using ways. Oh, no, this is not the right time of the day. This is Amavasya. So this is not a conducive day. We should not do japa today. When? Okay, shall we do tomorrow? Tomorrow is Tuesday, and Tuesday is not, the planetary system is not so favorable. Let's postpone it to Wednesday. Wednesday, by the time whatever that fire that we have to do any service, that is also gone. Niyamagraha means one who is using the rules and regulations and not following and not benefiting by engaging in devotional service. No. Here, mam cha vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunam samitityatam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So here it's clearly mentioned that one should use his mind, word, and action in the service of the Lord. When he does, even though he is in this world, still, what is he? He is already liberated. And yeah, Lord Vishnu is telling to Prithu Maharaj, Yasva dharmena mam nityam nirasi shraddhayanvita bhajate sanakai tasya manorajan prasidati. What is the other benefit you get? What is the benefit we get if we become a devotee is very nicely said here by Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is telling that if you follow the Supreme Person of Godhead, continued, my dear King Prithu, when one is situated in occupational duty, engages in my loving service without motive for material gain, he gradually becomes very satisfied within. After all of us, when we do a question, what do you want? Everyone says happiness. That is coming from satisfaction. But what kind of satisfaction we should have, aim for, is this, which will ever last forever. The Supreme Lord says, this verse is also confirmed in Vishnu Puran. Occupational duties are known as Varnashrama Dharma and apply the 4 divisions of material and spiritual life. namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. If one works according to the Varnashrama Dharma system and does not desire fruitful results, he gets satisfaction gradually. And then in this, he, Shraddhayanvita, Bhajate, this is very important. Everyone is situated in his occupational duty, but the purpose of material occupation should not be material gain. Why we are doing all this is we should understand, rather everyone should offer the results of his occupational activities. A Brahmana especially should execute his occupational duty not for material gain but to please the Lord. A Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra should work in a similar way. In this material world, everyone is engaged in various professional and occupational, remember, professional and occupational duties, but the purpose of such activities should be to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devotees, devotional service is very simple and anyone can adopt it. Let one remain what he is. He need only install the deity of the Supreme Lord in his house. The deity may be Radha Krishna or Lakshmi Narayan. There are many other forms of Lord. In this way, a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra can worship the deity with the results of his honest labor. Regardless of one's occupational duty, one should adopt the devotional means of hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, offering everything to the Lord, and engaging in his service. In this way, one can very easily engage himself in the service of the Lord. When the Lord is pleased with one's service, one's mission in life is fulfilled. It's very much recommended. Yeah, Prabhupada, where did I come across? Yeah, Prabhupada has strongly insisted that grihasthas should have deity worship. Yeah, the other day when I was watching the DT ministry seminar, there I came across, of course, DT worship need not be only that one should have a Sri Murti or Sri Vigraha, and then we say that okay, DT worship means I should start introducing so many high standards. There are also home standards, and then one need not say okay, it's only for people only who are in grihastha ashram. Even who are in brahmacharya ashram, what are they going to do? Deity worship is definitely recommended for grihasthas, not for sannyas or vanaprasthas, but mainly for grihasthas because they are the one who is earning, they are one who is working, who are doing professional and occupational duties. And what is the result of this hard labor? We will get our salary. When we get our salary, what should we do? Are we going to use it for ourselves? If we do, then we are bound. But rather, we should engage all these funds in the service of the Lord, and through that process, we gradually advance. And then, what about brahmacharis? Does it mean that brahmacharis need not have an altar for them? No, they should have it because, after all, from where will they get the blessings? They should also have, of course, they may not have the liquid so that they can opulently, they may not have time that they can opulently take care of the deities. That's why they can simply install the Lord in the picture form or a paint form. Actually, there are 8 kinds of forms, and in that, there is one made of stone, one is made of metal, and in that way, one is made of paint. So, which means for today's 21st century, it is what? It is photo. Yeah, one can take very nice photo of the deities whom they really love and have attachment, and they can worship daily. Why are we doing all this? Our mission will be fulfilled. What is that mission? In this way, one can very easily engage himself in the service of the Lord. If imagine there is no altar, are we going to do morning rituals? Are we going to pray to the Lord in the morning? Are we going to offer service to the Lord? No. But having an altar, having deity worship, then what are we doing? We are engaging ourselves in service. And when the Lord is pleased with one's service, one's mission is fulfilled. And then, anyway, so When the heart is cleansed of all material contamination, the devotee's mind becomes broader and transparent, and he can see things equally. At that stage of life, there is peace, and one is situated equally with me as Satchit Ananda Vigraha. So here we see uh, Kaivalyam. Kaivalyam usually is the word we hear, and the meaning of Kaivalyam here is referred as Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute. Ashnute is achieved. Brahma Kaivalyam. Brahma Kaivalyam is what? Attainment of this uh, freedom from material contamination. Which in other words, the when the heart is cleansed of all material contamination, the devotee's mind becomes broader and transparent, and he can see things equally. At that stage of life, there is peace, and one is situated equally with me. And Prabhupada mentions very clearly Mayavad conception of Kaivalya and that of Vaishnava community is different. Mayavad thinks that as soon as one is free from all metal contamination, job is done. I mean, I'm using my words here, but what Prabhupada is saying is the Mayavad thinks that as soon as one is free from metal contamination, he is merged into the existence of the Supreme. No, there is no question of merging because we are eternally part and parcel. We existed before, we exist now, and we will exist in future forever. The Vaishnava philosopher's conception of Kaivalya is different. He understands both his position and the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the uncontaminated condition, the living entity understands that he is the eternal servitor of the Supreme, and that he is called and that is called Brahma realization, the spiritual perfection of living entity. This rapport is very easily achieved. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, when one is engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, he is immediately situated on the transcendental platform of Kaivalya or Brahman. So that is the reason Vaishnavas are not behind Kaivalya, but Kaivalya comes on its own because he is anyway detached. When he elevates to the above the three gunas in the spirit of serving the Lord, automatically that is happening. When I want to do service to the Lord, I will absorb myself in hearing, singing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. When Vishnu Smaran, everything is happening, we forget ourselves. What happens when we forget ourselves? We don't even think that I am this body, I am not having the problems of this body, I do not belong to this. I only am servant, spirit, soul, servant of the Lord. So when all these things happen, what is happening? Automatic Kaivalya is anyway there. So, but for Mayavadis, Kaivalya is already final stage, which means as soon as when I am getting freedom from this body, even Nirvana is similar concept of Buddhism, where we say, hey, once when I myself get undisturbed from the material conditions, then I attain a state called Nirvana, freedom from bondage. So these are the understandings of Mayavad and Buddhism, whereas Vaishnav understanding here is that one attains Kaival automatically when one engages in the service of the Lord. And then eligible, then here it's saying Udasina Ivadyaksham Dravya Jnana Kriyatmanam Kutastham Imam Atmanam Yo Vedaptoti Shobhanam. So anyone who knows that this metal body made of 5 gross elements and sense organs, the working senses and the mind is simply supervised by the fixed soul, is eligible to be liberated from the material bondage. So here he is saying that anyway, purport is longer. The essence here is that body is made of these gross elements, subtle elements, and when one understands that I am different to all these, and then he attains liberation. Bhinnasya lingasya guna pravaho dravya kriya karaka chetana atmana dishtasu sampastu vipatstu Surayo. And then here it says that Lord Vishnu told the king that the constant change of this material world is due to the interaction of three modes of nature, the five elements, the senses, the demigods who control the senses, as well as the mind, which is agitated by the spirit soul. Hmm? All these taken together comprise the body. Since the spirit soul is completely different from this combination of the gross and subtle metal elements, my devotee who is connected with me in intense friendship and affection, being completely in knowledge, is never agitated by material happiness and distress. So, all these help us to understand what are the benefits of becoming a devotee, and not only that, how to see who is a devotee. And then from 13, now the Lord is instructing him. Four instructions that come here. The Lord is saying, treat higher, intermediate, and lower entities with equality. And then be equipoised in happiness and distress. Control your mind and senses. And finally, here he says that protect your citizens, loka rakshanam. This is very important because king, you should understand. Here is an example of receiving direct instruction from the Supreme Lord. One has to execute the order of Vishnu, whether receiving it directly from him or from his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. Arjuna fought the battle of Kurukshetra under the direct order of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, here, Prithu Maharaj is also being given orders by Lord Vishnu regarding the execution of his duty. We have to stick to the principles stated in Bhagavad Gita, Yavasayatmika Buddhi. Every man's duty is to receive order from Lord Krishna or from his bona fide spiritual master. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that one should not care very much whether he is going to be liberated or not, but he should simply execute the direct order received from the spiritual master. If one sticks to the principle of abiding by the orders of spiritual master, he will always remain in a liberation position. So one may think, oh, come on, I have doubts whether I will be getting liberated. I am very, very dirty. I am having a lot of bad qualities in me. I have no faith. I have no. But if I don't do anything, I'll stay that in this life, next life, always. Rather, we should take up the guidance of the spiritual master and execute ourselves and become successful. As a king, Prithu Maharaj was ordered by Lord Vishnu to keep himself always aloof from the activities of bodily situations. So, on one side, it might look like, okay, what are we discussing is about king and his duties. But rather, the Lord is also saying that, okay, it's not only that. He's saying that about a body, a living entity should understand that he is not this body. So in this way, the Lord, and what is the benefit of a king if he protects the citizens? This is mentioned, and very, very importantly, if a king protects his citizens, what is the benefit? He will get 1/6 of their piety. This is nice, right? After all, we think that king is doing a what? What is it called? Thankless job. Who is going to pay a king? We may think, no, the people are giving taxes. No, again, all those taxes are used again in the service of the people. So, in fact, if one is a ethical ruler or ethical leader, then he is what do you call it? Dissolving. He even is losing his identity. In the process of service, he's not taking care of his own self, he's not taking care of his own wife, he's not taking care of his children. Rather, he's seeing everyone are my children and he's engaging in service of everyone in his kingdom. Shreya Praja Palanam Eva Rajno Yad Samparaye Sukritat Shashtam Amsham. So, ruling over the general mass of people, so is he's saying is your duty, and it's not only thankless job. What is happening is when you die, then 1/6 of the piety, whatever the citizens you have taken care, will come to you. Why? Because you are facilitating the people to execute dharma, and because of that, the piety is coming. Because of that piety, right? And that piety, 1/6 of that comes to you. If he doesn't, the citizens will take his piety and will suffer their sins. What is the other effect? It's not only good. If a king is good, he will benefit. But if king is bad, what is happening? He is also punishable. How? But a king or executive head of state who simply collects taxes from the citizens but does not give them protection. No, no, no. If I don't take care of my family, if I don't take care of my own happiness, after all, I am a king. King means all facilities at my doorstep. Uh, so after all these things are for me. And if he engages in that, and okay, if I don't have sufficient funds, let me take taxes, let me torture them. Then what is happening? In exchange of his not giving protection, he becomes liable to punishment for impious activities of his subject. First of all, he himself is doing not following religion. For that, he will be punished. On top of that, what is extra quota? Because he is not doing his duty properly. Not only that he is suffering, but the people who are not doing their duty properly, because the king is not protecting, whatever happens because of them, that also he has to bear the share. He's liable for that. Isn't it so dangerous to take up roles? Uh, An executive head should not be callous to the welfare of general mass of people while he simply goes on collecting taxes. The same principle can be applied to parents and spiritual masters as well. If parents simply give birth to children like cats and dogs but cannot save their children from imminent death, they become responsible for the activities of their animalistic children. This is very strong, right? Prabhupada is mentioning. Lately, such children are turning into hippies. Similarly, if a spiritual master cannot direct his disciples to become free of sinful activities, he becomes responsible for their sinful acts. Usually, we may hear, right? If disciples are not good, um, then we see like, okay, the spiritual master goes sick or the spiritual master going through suffering. Huh? Is it real? How can that happen? Huh? This is the praman. This is the reference that if the leader is not uh, taking care, hmm, then what are the consequences are happening? For that he has to suffer. And here it says similar, if a spiritual master cannot direct his disciples to become free of sinful activities, he becomes responsible for their sinful acts. These subtle laws of nature are unknown to the present leaders of society. Since the leaders of society have a poor fund of knowledge and citizens in general are rogues and thieves, there cannot be an auspicious situation for human society. At present moment, the whole world is full of such an incompatible combination of state and citizens. And therefore, there is constant tension, war, anxiety as an inevitable result of such social conditions. So we should understand that after we accept someone as a spiritual master, we should understand that my actions can influence uh, my spiritual master, uh, either suffering or by offering my proper service, then he is getting benefited. So in that way, we should understand, we should be very careful, vigilant what we are doing, how we are dealing. As soon as when something I am doing, the question should be, if if my spiritual master is present here, will he approve my action or not? If we understand this basic thing and apply that in our life, then we can check our own propensities that are not conducive for our devotional life. Why? Because we do not want, we genuinely do not want to put our spiritual master into suffering. We want to offer him service. A service is not for suffering. A service is for offering comfort, offering pleasure. offering happiness, offering satisfaction. And when we engage ourselves in this way, then we are doing um, justice to our relationship as guru and disciple. And then further here in the 15th verse, yeah, by protecting the citizens, the earth, according to the principles approved by and received from great brahmanas without attachment to your position, the citizens will love you, and you will soon see great saints, the Kumaras. They come. Where is that? Drishtasi Siddhan, who comes? Um, Perfected personalities, Anurakta Loka. Hmm. Anurakta means loved. Anurakta Loka means people or citizen. Because if you rule properly, then people are happy. And when people are happy, what is happening? They love you. And when people are happy and they love, what is also is happening is, yeah, uh, you are known in all the three worlds. And when you are known in all the three worlds, great personalities come. Huh? Why? Of course, that we'll discuss later. But here we see the point that you will see liberated personalities as the four Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumar. So this is what happens after two chapters. Yeah, after two chapters, we see this is what Lord Vishnu says in fact happens, and Sanat Kumar blesses King Prithu. All that happens. So this proves that King Prithu was a successful ruler. Why? Because his people loved him, and also the great personalities come. And what is the benefit of great personality coming in our home? Huh? What happens when when a great personality comes our home? We should understand that we are blessed. Huh? Rather, usually we may think, oh, if a great personality is coming, what to do? It's very no. Other day Rupa was saying that yeah, this is a sign of Lord's mercy flowing in our home or in our life. When we see that, okay, if I'm not proactively inviting someone, but if someone himself is coming, we should understand that the Lord has sent. Yeah, here is also that what is he as liberated personalities or as the four Kumaras. Yeah, maybe the four Kumaras are not coming, but great devotees. Yeah, they come. And what happens when they come? Are they going to enjoy? Are they going to spend time for their own comfort? No, they are here only for the benefit of whom? Grihasthas. Only for the benefit of whom? For the person who needs to be lifted up in devotion. Otherwise, they are anyway having so many engagements in the service of the Lord. Why they come is for for the host benefit, not for the guest benefit. Lord Vishnu advised Prithu Maharaj that everyone should follow the principles of Varnashrama. Then, in whatever capacity one remains within the material world, his salvation is guaranteed after death. In this age, however, since the Varnashrama system, very important, is topsy-turvy, it is very difficult to strictly follow all principles. The only method for becoming perfect in life is to develop Krishna consciousness. As Varnashram system or dharma is executed from different positions by different men, so Krishna consciousness principles can be followed by everyone in every part of the world. Very important, because we don't know in the name of equality in the 21st century, everyone is equal. Hey, come on, why there is a Brahman who are given only higher education? Why they are Shudras who are always given labor roles? All these things, our Varnashram system, we are not able to understand it, but we should understand Krishna consciousness. Principles can be applied by everyone. There is a specific purpose in mentioning here in that one should follow Dvijagrayas, the most prominent Brahmanas like Parashara and Manu. These great sages have already given us instructions on how to live according to principles of Varnashram. Similarly, Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami have given us rules and regulations for becoming pure devotee of the Lord. This is very important. We should not just stay back at the Varnashram and then start seeing, hey, this is the job of Brahman. I am not a Brahman. I will not do it. This is job of a Shudra. I am not a Shudra. I will not do. And this is a job of a Vaishya. Do. Come on, by birth I am not a Vaishya. Or this is job of a Kshatriya. So if we just kind of see that, oh, where do I belong? Don't we have this question? Sometimes we are having Brahmanical intelligence. Sometimes we have Kshatriya strength. Sometimes we have Vaishya's intelligence. Sometimes nothing, but I want to just, not able to understand what is the reality of the world, and better to do what others are doing. Shudra mentality. No, we are not always in one. We are just predominated by one of these time to time. So what best thing one should do is follow Sanatan and Rupa Goswami's guidelines of how to become a pure devotee. It is essential, therefore, to follow the instructions of Acharya in the Parampara system who have received the knowledge as passed down from spiritual master to disciple. In this way, although living entity in our material condition of life, we can get out of entanglement of material contamination without leaving our positions. In this age of democracy, there are so many government representatives voting for legislation. Every day they bring out a new law. But because these laws are only mental concoction manufactured by inexperienced conditioned souls, they cannot give relief to the human society. Formerly, although the kings were autocrats, they strictly followed the principle laid down by great sages and saintly persons. There were no mistakes in ruling over the country, and everything went perfectly. The citizens were completely pious. The king levied taxes legitimately, and therefore the situation was very happy. So this is what Prabhupada mentions that one should be. And then he finally asks, the Lord now this is the, I would say, there are actually 4 points in this chapter which are very, very shooting for a devotee. Now, Varam Chamat Kanchana Manavendra. So here is saying, I am very pleased and I would like to give you a benediction. Vinishwa Teham Guna Shila Yantrita Naham Makhair. I'm not just sad. Why Sulabha Tapobhir Yogina Vayat Samachitta Varti. So here the Lord is saying, I am not pleased, in one way, I am very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior, and thus I am very favorably inclined toward you. You may therefore ask from me any benediction you like. The Lord is giving a blank check. How fortunate it is, position that Lord is saying, you ask anything. If Lord is saying you can ask anything, that shows what is the capacity of the Lord, that he can give anything. It's not like, okay, no, you ask me these things, in this limits I can give you. No, he's asking anything you like. One who does not possess elevated qualities and behavior cannot possibly achieve my favor simply by performance of sacrifice, severe austerities, or mystic yoga. So the Lord is also telling, just by performing mystic yoga or austerities or performance of sacrifices, my favor, there is no guarantee. But I always remain equipoised in the heart of one who is also equipoised in all circumstances. So the Lord is saying that you ask me, I am situated neutrally in the heart, Samachitta Varti, of those who are equipoised and not controlled by material conduct. So because you are not controlled by material conduct, you are like me, you are dear to me, and I am ready to give you benediction. So Lord Vishnu was very pleased with Maharaj Prithu's good character and behavior and offered him a benediction. The Lord openly says that performing great sacrifices or undergoing austerities of mystic yoga practice cannot satisfy him. He is pleased only by elevated character and behavior. But these cannot develop unless one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. Anyone who has developed unalloyed, unflinching devotional service unto the Lord develops his original good qualities as spirit soul. Hmm. And then there is in the purport, they are given like the qualities of devotees, 26 in number. What are they? Hmm. Kind to everyone, does not quarrel with anyone. Huh? And these are few mentioned here, are listed as follows. And first, start counting. Kind to everyone, does not quarrel with anyone, fixed in the absolute truth, equal to everyone, faultless, charitable, mild, clean, simple, benevolent, peaceful, completely attached to Krishna, has no material hankering, meek, steady, self-controlled, does not eat more than required, sane, respectful, humble, grave, compassionate, friendly, poetic, expert, silent. The Lord is satisfied by development of transcendental qualities of living entity and not by artificial performance of sacrifices and mystic yoga. In other words, unless one is fully qualified to become pure devotee of Lord, one cannot expect to be liberated from material entanglement. And then Prithu Maharaj, yeah, so Maitreya is saying, Saitam Loka Guruna, who is that Loka Guruna? The spiritual master of all people, Lord Vishnu. He gave the instruction, so that's how he is addressed here. Vishwaksena Viswajit Anusastita Adesham Shirasa Grahe Hare. So here is saying that um, the great saint Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, in this way Maharaj Prithu, the conqueror of the entire world, accepted the instructions of the Supreme Lord on his head. And accepting instructions of the Lord, what will happen? Is it just kind of, oh, you told me, now I know what to do? No. Prithu accepted this instruction, and then what happened? To see the greatness of a devotee, how fortunate it is for anyone. Along with Vishnu, who came, it was Indra. Indra saw Prithu's greatness, that he got all these instructions. Are these easy instructions? No. To be equipious, to rule like that, to take care of a citizen, to protect all the. Oh, it's not so easy. But Prithu Maharaj has committed. He has accepted the instructions of the Lord. And then what happened? Indra was ashamed of his own activities. And then, again, a point to be underlined, he touched the feet of Prithu Maharaj. Now we see King Indra is touching. King Indra is the king of heaven, and he is touching whom? The word that Lord used was Narendra. No, Narendra. Yeah, Narendra. He said. So who is that? Prithu Maharaj. So Indra, after touching the feet, what happened? Prithu gave up all hatred and embraced Indra. And not only that, this anger that he had, right? So Prithu Maharaj had this anger, and then because of that, he was disturbed. He wanted to do all these things. The Lord came, he gave the instructions, and now but Prithu Maharaj immediately embraced him in ecstasy. On one side, we see that Indra is ashamed, and when people come for forgiveness, what do? We take the advantage and say, you see now, I told you now. I told you 10 times that it will not happen, it will not work, but you did it. You suffer. I'll see how you will enjoy. So all this, King Prithu, he immediately embraced him in a great ecstasy and gave up all the envy against him for his having stolen the horse meant for the sacrifice. So here we see in the purport, there are many cases in which a person becomes an offender to the lotus feet of Vaishnava and later becomes repentant. Some examples given: an offender at the lotus feet of Vaishnava is never excused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Example is Ambarish Maharaj was offended by Durvasa Muni. And who is he? He is a great mystic, great sage. And Durvasa also had to fall down at the feet of Ambarish Maharaj. Here what happened? Indra decided to fall down at the lotus feet of King Prithu, but King was so magnanimous a Vaishnava that he did not want Maharaj Indra to fall down at his feet. Instead, he immediately picked up and embraced. And both of them forgot all the past incidents. This is so nice. After all, they are devotees. Both King Indra and Maharaj Prithu were envious and angry with each other, but since both of them were Vaishnavas or servants of the Lord, it was their duty to adjust the cause of their envy. This is also a first class example of cooperative behavior between Vaishnavas. In the previous days, in the present days, however, because people are not Vaishnavas, they fight perpetually among one another and are vanquished without finishing the mission of human life. There is a great need to propagate the Krishna consciousness movement in the world so that even though people sometimes become angry and malicious toward one another because of their being Krishna conscious, such rivalry, competition, and envy can be adjusted without difficulty. Which means it's not that these qualities are not there, but even if they are there, being a devotee, they are checked time to time. Bhagavan ata Vishwatma Prutanopata Ahana Samujjihvanaya Bhaktya Grita Charano Ambuja. So King Prithu abundantly worshipped the Lord, and then he, while worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, Prithu Maharaj gradually increased his ecstasy in devotional service. And as a consequence of that, what happened? The Lord Mercy was just about to, when Lord was about to leave, he saw Prithu Maharaj in great ecstasy, in love of Godhead. So he got down off his Garuda Vahan and then with his feet almost touching the floor, but yeah, his feet doesn't touch the floor, we know. And then his shoulder on the Garuda, right wing, and then he was just seeing. And Prithu Maharaj, why? I mean, after all, Lord is Bhaktavatsal and he is very affectionate. He's seeing, he detained because he's always the well-wisher of his devotees. Kesham Satada Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tvam Tam Yenamam Upayantite. So, in that way, the Lord says that He's always pleased, He's always dealing with affection and are directly in contact, then they are in contact with the Lord. So, there is no, therefore, there is no chance of a devotee being in error, nor is there any partiality on the part of the Lord for His pure devotee. And then, so finally, the original King Prithu, with his eyes full of tears and his voice faltering and choking up, what happened? He simply embraced the Lord within his heart and remained standing in that way with folded hands. And after this, the Lord's feet touched the. Okay, I said. Then after seeing this, the Lord came. I think you stopped at 22, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this is what, and then after this, Prithu Maharaj is offering his prayers. Then he will also express very nice thing. What because Lord said na openly said, ask whatever you want, and it's very interesting. Prithu Maharaj expresses his desire. Very interesting. That we'll discuss next week. Thank you very much. Are there anything anyone want to share and or have questions? I see. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I think, very nice recitation. And I think, our questions on like, how this will proceed was also answered, Prabhuji. So Lord Indra himself coming and asking forgiveness, I think it was very nice aspects. Prabhuji, just have one question, like,
This also says that love attracts love and hatred attracts
hate, yes, hate and anger, yes, Prabhuji. And, the Lord himself also telling that, okay, you can ask whatever you want. That was also a beautiful, accomplishment of supremacy of what love matters. Just one question, Prabhuji, like, you were mentioning that Lord
But
Indra was...
One aspect there is also, I mean, the Lord, what is he doing? He brought Indra and settling things, right? So he didn't pray that, hey, Lord, please come. But Lord Vishnu himself came. If you really carefully see, the Lord here, Lord Vishnu himself comes, right? And he is bringing Indra. So he is coming to settle things, right?
Yes, Prabhuji,
and
exactly.
the Lord is, can Lord be thankless? Hey, because I'm your boss, you just forgive him. No, though the Lord is boss, what is he doing? He's saying, okay, okay. But I'm very pleased by your behavior. I'm very pleased by the way that you are dealing. I'm very pleased. Ask something I want to give. So he's not just saying, okay, I am, it's your duty to do what I say. Rather, here the Lord is not only that, he is also saying, okay, for what you are doing, I'm very much pleased and I want to give you something. Usually we in our life are always eager to get, take. Yeah. Even if someone is giving us favor, how are we reciprocating? Yeah, we are so much indebted, right, in our lives to so many people. How much are we indebted? And are we thinking of, okay, I have benefited from him, I have been blessed by him, or how much are we reciprocating? We are only kind of thinking, oh, okay, what am I getting? What am I getting? Oh, I'm happy. Oh, once upon a time, I have short temper. Once upon a time, I was very, very angry. Once upon a time, I had all these things. But okay, there are the Sadhus Association, due to which I am now having a very happy life. Or my bad karma, or whatever we may think, whatever is there now is burned because of the favor of association of devotees. And then what are we doing? Are we just, hey, Bhagwan, thank you very much? That's it? So the Lord is showing the example that we can't just kind of say, hey, anyway, that's nice of you. No, he's not just saying that. He's openly saying that I'm giving you what even the mystic yogis, the jnanis, they can't get it, but I'm giving you an offer.
Yes, Prabhuji, absolutely.
And for what? For himself? No, to save his devotee. I'm going to tell everything for me. Okay, I'm ready to pay for what comfort I want or what. No, here the Lord is doing it for whom? For Indra.
Yes, Prabhuji. So here is where and also one more thing is, in text 16, it is said that doesn't matter, you do all these yajnas, etc. But if you don't possess the qualities and behavior, it is of no use. So I think that also talks about cleanliness from inside. But probably, just staying on with Indra, right? So Pitamahar Bhishma, right, from Mahabharata, Prabhuji, even he was, in fact, he recited the Vishnu Sahasranamam, is what, like, I understand, Prabhuji. So he was he was a devotee, because here it is said that you cannot kill Indra because he's part of my body, he's my devotee, kind of thing.
He didn't say that. Lord Brahma said that.
Oh, Brahma said, oh, sorry, folks. Yeah, and so if you just take a parallels with Pitamaha Bhishma, right? He was also a devotee, obviously not a part of God, but he was a devotee, and he also stood in the path of. He didn't stand in the path of righteousness. But there, Krishna says, I think you address this in a way, like you said, like, Krishna says to Arjuna, you can go and, kill these people to establish dharma. But here it is, isn't it contradicting, Prabhuji? Because there also you had devotees of Lord standing on the opposite side. I'm a little confused here, Prabhuji. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So what your question is it right, the dealing that Bhishma Dev got in the battlefield of Kurukshetra?
Yes, Prabhuji, exactly. Because I'm just trying to strike a parallels. So here,
Yeah,
Indra, yeah, yes,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah, that's
In
my
the case
question,
of
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
in the case of Indra, and King Prithu, yeah, the first thing here we see that what Indra did was his mind was like that. Yeah, so he was envious. In the case of Bhishma, he was not envious. Yeah, in that way we can see that Bhishma Dev is even great devotee.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
And then how come that Bhishma was what do you call? Was targeted, right? So if you see in the Mahabharata, in Kurukshetra war, how come that Bhishma can how come that Krishna is instructing Arjuna to shoot arrows on his devotee Bhishma? I think that is your question. The answer is very simple, because Bhishma wanted it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Bhishma, being a Kshatriya, and he wanted that I want to see. I mean, of course, again in the spirit of Lord and his servant, I want to see the beauty of you, that you raise weapon on me. Hmm? I don't know if I think you may recollect this, right? So, but what Krishna said is, in Kurukshetra, he will not shoot any arrows, right? Or he will not fight, but he will be
Yes,
just.
right.
So what
Yeah,
happens is, this war goes and goes and goes, and further a point comes where um, Bhishma is shooting arrows, and the situation was very pathetic, where Arjuna is going to be getting defeated. Yeah. So at that moment, Krishna takes the wheel of the chariot, and then he rushes towards Bhishma.
yes.
And this is what he wanted. This is anyway, first, this is not the main reason. But anyway, Bhishma wanted. This is one thing, that he wanted to see Krishna raising weapon, and that Lord has fulfilled by this, by not taking the weapons, but he made the wheel itself as the weapon. Yeah, this is one. And second thing is that we see that how much he was loyal to the throne of Hastinapur. Not only that, how much loyal he was only to keep up his own word. And now I will take a vow that I don't entertain any devotees. And if I just keep doing that, is it right or wrong? I take up to something that is not lawful. I'll take something that is not right. And if I'm just, because I took a word, if I just want to maintain the word, how correct it is? Yeah.
Yes.
Just imagine if Bhishma is allowed, he's doing right. After all, he's a devotee, right? So let it be. He's a devotee, that's why he can do like that. No. The Lord wanted to show that, okay, devotee means, who? He is the one who is fighting for what? Dharma. And because Bhishma Dev was fighting against Adharma, he wanted to show. And afterwards, what happened? When Bhishma Dev was on the bed of arrows, everyone were visiting, and even Krishna visited. And in the last moment of Bhishma, how did it end? When he was seeing Krishna, he was
That's where he recited.
and he
Yeah,
said,
that's
I
where he
don't want to
recited.
see anything. I only want to see your face. And how? In this form of Kshatriya.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Lord fulfilled.
Prabhuji, Yeah, I think that's where he recited Vishnu Sahasranamam, I think, on the Arab.
Yeah.
But probably, is it also because, the Shikandi thing, Amba, that pastime of Bhishma, right, Prabhuji? Like, so that probably Amba took the form of Shikandi, and Krishna made him come so that Bhishma Pitamaha, he does not raise his arrow. So is it also like his karma should be lost? If that is the case, how about the karma of Indra? Does not he get any bad karma? So was it?
Yeah, so everyone is a jiva, and when everyone is interacting with the material energy, then there is always karma, vikarma, and akarma. Only when he is doing a devotional activity, then it doesn't has any result. So when one is in the material world, and if he is not always under the instruction of the Lord and engaging himself in his own interest, then he will get reaction. Yeah, even King Indra, he got his reactions. Yeah, I think the last time you were asking about Gautama Rishi, right? Ahalya.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yeah.
You spoke about it, yes. Prabhu.
So
Okay.
yeah, they're not free from karmic reactions. But
Okay, Prabhuji, thank
the
you.
good sign here is that, because this is also very important, when one genuinely submit himself what mistake he has committed and ask forgiveness, then the result is less, or he will be actually forgiven.
Okay, Prabhuji, this helps. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very good.
Hare Krishna. Others? Hemagori Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, it's a wonderful explanation in detail. Yeah,
Mhm.
everything about the leader and spiritual master and disciples. And
Actually, I still covered very, very briefly. I honestly speaking, it is
okay,
still very briefly, but yeah, I encourage everyone to go through the purports, because Prabhupada, yeah, I mean, these level of details when we read from Prabhupada purports, right, we really understand those things that emphasize the importance of to become a devotee is very, very desperate need. It's not a choice, but it's a very desperate need. Otherwise, do we want to go through all this suffering of maybe a politician who is not doing his job? Do we want to be part of that suffering, or do we want to be part of our own distress by doing something ourselves? No. The best thing is by engaging in devotional service, by becoming a devotee. That is when our intelligence, knowledge is awakened, and then because of that we practice or engage in the service of the Lord, and yeah, can become successful. Yeah. Bhagavatam is not a story where we read, okay, oh, logically, as Satish Prabhu was asking, right, oh, in the case of Indra, it happened like this, in the case of Bhishma, it happened like that. Now let us have a, I don't know what is it called, uh, in olden days in Panchayat, right, where they'll have this uh, a, seating place or a basement or a platform where all the important people come under a tree and they keep discussing. Hey, you shouldn't have done like that. You should have done like this. Oh, the Lord should not have done like that. Why did he do that? No, he's not mm, generous. He's not kind-hearted. He's not compassionate. And the other one will tell, no, 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 no. Lord is very compassionate. So this is not a kind of a, uh, to check our intelligence. Amala Puran means the Puran is faultless. If I cannot understand, doesn't matter, but it is faultless. When our faults are gone, then we may appreciate it. So until then, we have to accept as it is. So that is the purpose of Bhagavatam. And then when we are taking shelter of Bhagavatam, we come to the platform of understanding how important it is to forgive others. How example, we can take this example. Prithu Maharaj, he gave up. And the Lord Himself is saying, forgive. Okay, I say, okay, maybe king has done it on his own. No, the Lord is saying, forgive Indra. Yeah, this is very important when we are dealing with devotees. I'm I came across so many times. This is very important that when we are dealing with Vaishnavas, we have to be very, very careful how we are dealing. And if we do not have the aspect of forgiveness, if we do not have understanding of humbleness, it's going to be very difficult. We may become devotees of 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, but in the end, we are actually not devotees because of these covering that we have. Where we are not humble, we are not in a position to accept, we are not in a position to, okay. And then if we are not humble, and if what is the other quality? Forgiveness. Yeah. Then what kind of devotees are we? If we cannot forgive, what kind of even humans are we? So these qualities are very important, and when we can have these qualities, then we advance. Otherwise, yeah, as Lord Vishnu says, yeah, I think Yon said that. Yeah, otherwise it is simply waste of time. Yeah, thank you. Anyone has any question, anything want to share or add? Comment? Okay, if no, then thank you so much. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.